The Rape Gang Inquiry report is out.
Okay, we're off to a fantastic start. She's just laughing about it already. We're only 8 seconds
And I'm
in.
going to try not to laugh.
I don't know. Listen, on the show, we've laughed about a lot of things. We've watched people get murdered live on air. Sometimes, I understand laughing is a reaction. I don't think we've ever laughed at children. I've never found that stuff funny. In any way. So this is kind of crazy shit. This chick might be a demon.
Because it feels mean.
What?
I haven't read the whole thing. It's 219 pages. It's only just come out a couple of hours ago. Okay, so this time last year I went to Alistair Harrison and I explained to him that in order for the report to stand up to scrutiny when it was released, it needed a proper methodology, and it needed...
Sounds like she's about to try and invalidate it, saying there's not enough proof. So let me just go ahead and easily prove it. Prove some of the stuff that's real. In I think the first story, the Chloe story, or the second or third story, they talk about this poor woman or little girl getting dragged into a graveyard, and then R-worded, and it's filmed or it's caught on camera. They filmed it themselves. That was actually caught on camera and it leaked on X. So a lot of the crimes that they talk about, we've seen them 100 times on Twitter. We've seen them live. I mean, we saw the little girl with the axe getting harassed. We saw that live. We saw a Sudanese guy try and cut off the head of a British person. I mean, I just don't understand. But okay, maybe that's not where she's going with this. Let me see.
A proper what do they call it? Terms of reference, okay? And that he needed somebody to create that, preferably with somebody with expertise. Although I said, I have some expertise being a journalist and having...
You're not a journalist. I'm more of a journalist than you are. Shut the fuck up.
Written reports.
Everyone on Twitter is more of a journalist than you are. I'd listen to some troll named Poopfucker69 and trust them way more than I trust you.
Happy to do that.
You're a slag, as they say in the UK. You're a slag.
Needed to be somebody who actually had proper grounding in things like statistical analysis and research methods and all that kind of stuff, right? So I actually wasn't going to do it myself. I was going to find people who do know how to do that thing, but I was going to at least steer it because I know what's kind of meant to be there. Obviously, none of that got done because Alistair Harrison said to me, "We're not going to pay you." And I said, "Okay, but you still need someone to do all this stuff or you'll just get ripped apart." And he said, "Don't worry, we've got a lawyer on it who's going to write it for free." Now, it turns out that they did not have a lawyer on it to write it for free. They had Josh Firm, who's from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, not a lawyer, and Charlie Downs and Harrison Pitt, who I believe are also not lawyers. And so, as a result, they also haven't done their research either, because on page 11, for example, we find the following. In each of these areas, the same tactics were used. Girls as young as 11, ... were trafficked across county lines.
Why is she rocking like that? Yeah, if you're only listening, she's like rocking back and forth like a fucking, I don't know, like a full-blown autist. I'm flaming autist, but what's going on here? I don't get it. Even if the stories were fake, like, I don't understand how that would be funny.
County lines are phone lines. And you don't even have to do a lot of digging to find that out, right? Literally, all you have to do is Google what is a county line, and it will tell you that county lines are the way that urban drug dealers get their drugs.
What is your point? Is your point that it's not... the human trafficking number is inflated because the county lines are phone lines and these places are actually close together? Like, what is going on?
Into more rural areas. They have phone lines that people can call to get drugs. Those are county lines. So you cannot traffic somebody over a county line unless you're trafficking them over a phone line.
Is she retarded? Am I retarded? Is the UK, like, County lines are county lines, right? County lines are phone lines in the UK. Like, what is even the argument here? Let's just take what she's saying at face value. That county lines are phone lines, and that in the fucking script or whatever it says county lines, they mean phone lines, and it's a mistake because that would mean they're trafficking over a phone. Everybody knows trafficking is still happening within your country, within your band of countries. So what are you saying? 250,000 of them? It's just like they sat down with real people and said that they were being trafficked. What does it matter? What does that detail even matter?
Which I guess is technically possible if you're also selling them on a phone line or via that phone, but that's not what they mean here, right? So if they haven't understood the basics of how the drug network
My blood is
in this
boiling a little
country,
bit.
then they
No one's talking about drugs, you fucking freak. You degenerate demon. You are a demon sent from hell, okay, to ensure that children are hurt. That's what you are. You're a demon sent from hell. I don't care if the actual report was written by a fucking 2-year-old and I could barely understand it. You understand the essence of the report. 250,000 minimum children were hurt because of the crimes your politicians have committed, your police have committed, your judges have committed, your doctors have committed, all perpetrated and pushed by demons like you. What are you saying? Like,
have absolutely no hope of understanding grooming gangs because grooming gangs are criminal cartel enterprises. That is the grooming gang, right? It's a criminal gang. And the two are very, very closely aligned. Where you get drugs, you get grooming gangs and vice versa. This is exactly what Alexis J was talking about in her 2014, 12 years ago, report on Rotherham, the really famous one that everybody knows about.
You're a
because
demon.
that's what
You're a
this whole
demon
thing kind of
sent from hell. That's
place,
what
okay?
you are.
So that
You're a
was the
demon
report that
sent
came
from
out
hell.
of
You
Andrew
need to
Northcott's
go back.
reporting, which obviously
You're a
started
demon
in
sent from hell.
2011. He made a big noise about Rotherham. The council came under scrutiny, and then Alexis J was hired to write her report. And she has a whole chapter in her report that just talks about a woman named Angie Heel.
You need to figure out what she's saying here. She's arguing semantics, guys. That's what she's doing. She's arguing semantics because they used the wrong. You don't understand what a grooming gang is because you don't understand that county lines is phone lines and it's all connected to drugs. It's this new tactic they use to try and pull your attention away from the fact at hand that is that these poor little girls are getting hurt. Fuck the trafficking. Like, I don't even think that's the most important part. The most important part is that over half of those stories just said, "Oh, I just went to the town center and I'm getting R-worded." What is it like?
Angie Heel was hired in 2002, I believe, by the police, the South Yorkshire Police, I believe.
She's a council member. She's counselor. Sorry, maybe she's the counselor. She's counselor Donna Rachel.
It's called. It was
demon. She's a demon.
To look at actually drugs, right? And what she found very, very
I don't know why she's still talking about drugs. I don't
understand. Children attached to the drugs trade.
And so
she went to the police at that point and said, "Hey, if you want to be properly safeguarding children, then you need to look at this connection with drugs."
No, you don't.
Her.
You really don't.
Actually buried the report. That's why Alexis J accused them of looking the other way and being institutionally complicit.
Okay, which
so
they were.
Got buried. Then she released another report in 2000.
I don't even understand this chick's point, man.
In 2005, and then she quit because nobody was listening to her and nothing was getting done about it. So Alexis J identified that as long ago as 2002, the Rotherham trade could have been stopped if the police and councils had looked.
It's her argument is that if we stop the drug trade, we would also stop the human trafficking trade. Like, what? What? Does she think drug trafficking is more important than human trafficking? Demon. She's a demon.
At the connection between drugs and children who were being groomed.
Demon, speak.
None of that,
don't listen to it, guys.
I'm going to assume from that line in the Rape Gang Inquiry Report, has made it into the Rape Gang Inquiry Report. Because if it had, they would know that county lines are phone lines and not county demarcation lines, and therefore you don't get trafficked across them.
Traffic in America, by the way, is just being moved from one location to another. That's what it means in America. Literally, it's like kidnapping, I think, at the start. So even if a perpetrator took a victim from like a park to an alleyway, I believe that's kidnapping. And then trafficking, I don't think has to be over county lines. So like, I don't really understand what her point is at all, to be honest with you.
I'm going to leave this video here because I will start banging my head against the desk.
I hope
But
you
I
do.
hope this
That would be the greatest thing for all of humanity, is if people like you repeatedly banged your head on the nearest hearted object until it all went black. That would be the greatest thing for all of humanity. Please do that. Please. Leave it on,
gives you
too. Leave the camera on.
some idea of how little research these guys have done. They've also put a whole load of stuff in there about the Muslims and how awful the Muslims are, but in really, really vague terms. Everywhere there are Muslims, you get these problems.
She retarded? It's not vague. It's the stories of the victims. And to be honest with you, the way it's written, it's like they tried to be as unbiased as possible. I was surprised. Not the statistics part. Well, I mean, stats are stats. It is what it is. You might not like them, but, you know, even the stats are pretty blatant about it.